you, everyone. We are now
Recording
back.
in progress.
We are back at officially 11:07 a.m. I did ask for 11:05, but thank you so much for your patience and grace. At this time, I will ask for a roll call.
Present.
Present.
Jamie Barney.
Present.
Evan Bergeron.
Present.
Melissa Haley.
Present.
Trinity George.
Present.
Cindy Saraparu. Laura Sunseri, present.
All right, and we have Sherry Morris, our legal counsel, that is here with us today, as well as Emily D'Angelo, our administrator. At this time, we are going to correspondence 5A, which is an application for continuing education approval organization from Green Path Wellness. Let's see, and that is under our correspondence. Any discussion, questions, or regarding correspondence 5A Green Path Wellness?
I reviewed the application. I didn't see any concerns with it.
Okay, and so is there a motion on the floor for an application?
I'll make a motion to approve.
It's been moved by Trinity to approve this request, this application. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Evan. Any public comment to the motion on the floor? Any objection or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is correspondence 5B, application for continuing education approval organization, New Orleans Association of Black Social Workers.
Madam Chair, recuse myself.
Let the record reflect that Melissa Haley has requested to recuse herself from discussion regarding this application.
Okay. After having reviewed the application and being provided with a letter from the president with the amended reviewer, I make a motion to approve this request for the New Orleans Association of Black Social Workers.
Second. It's been moved by Trinity to approve. It's been seconded by Jamie. Any public comment pertaining to this motion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a approval for continuing education organization for Sexual Trauma Awareness and Response Center.
I reviewed this one. It looked fine. And I also want to say for the record how much I love STAR. So I will move what? What did you find, Trinity?
I make a motion to deny.
Okay, so hold on.
Before discussion?
Hold on. Wait, 1 second. 1 second. I need to have order. There is a motion on the floor to approve by Evan. Is there a second to that motion?
Can I have 2 seconds?
There's no, okay.
I'll withdraw my motion if we want to discuss.
At this time, the motion has been withdrawn by, let the record reflect that the motion to approve has been withdrawn by Evan to allow for discussion. Evan has agreed to withdraw the motion. All right. So at this time, y'all take a moment to look at this application.
So, Sexual Trauma Awareness and Response Team STAR. The founder of STAR is, the application looks great. However, the only issue with this is the founder of STAR and Radical Changes LLC is Ms. Rochelle Hebert, LCSW Bax. A new letter is warranted from someone outside and not affiliated with the organization. Ms. Rochelle Hebert, LCSW Bax, wrote a letter on behalf of her own organization. This is why I want to deny, because she wrote a letter for her own organization.
Michelle?
Rochelle, RACHAEL, Hebert, LCSW Bax. If you go and review, you're going to see that she wrote her own letter. If you go to Radical Changes LLC, and review their website, you're gonna find, that she's the founder of that organization. If you go as well and look at store.ngo, you're gonna also see that she is a founder of that organization. You put those two together, and there you go.
But is she still affiliated with?
Yes, with both organizations, she is.
She's like on their board or what?
Yes, she is.
So it's not that she was the founder, but it's because she's actively.
Yes, let's go back and see. So. Star NGO.
Okay.
I'm going back and I'm going to our staff for Star. Okay, and that's our founders right here. Oh, okay. Sure, everyone. If you go to Star.
I don't see her so far on the board of director.
Well, just under Star, it just says,
I mean, I know, I say it's noting that she's the founder,
Right.
but you said,
I just went to our staff.
yeah, right, it notes her as the founder. I don't see
Yeah, it doesn't indicate.
that she's currently
Currently works there.
involved there.
And in fact, the president and CEO is Morgan Lamondre. I do not see a problem.
Okay.
She may have founded the organization, which is fine. She does not appear to still work there.
Did he see somewhere that she was on a board related to this?
So let me go back to the others. And that's the only thing that I see.
I feel like this is a little different than somebody who's actively on a board for,
Okay.
um,
That's the only thing that I seen. If there's no issue with that, then there was no issue with the application. But I wanted to run it by you all before.
At this time, is there a motion, regarding this application? Are we ending discussion?
I'll renew my motion to approve.
a second.
Okay, it's been moved by Evan to approve this application for Star, and it's been seconded by Bora. Any public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a application for continuing education approval for the Office of Citizens with Developmental Disabilities for the state of Louisiana.
Now, for this one, it looks like one of the letters, even after it was resubmitted, didn't have a letterhead or
Yes.
indication of where the
Return.
person worked.
Yeah.
I think it said something about they may work at LDH or,
It's,
but it's not on any letterhead, no return address.
what I seen, it stated that, Ms. Cheryl Brown, LCSW, there was a request to submit another letter with a wet signature and on a letterhead by an LBSWE analyst. So received a wet signature letter on 1/27/24 with no letterhead. So we need a new letter required on a letterhead to include a wet signature as requested.
Do we historically, have we approved pending receipt or have we denied for an ask for a resubmit in this situation?
It has gone either way.
Pending receipt would be okay for me.
So even if she works, are we okay with it if she is an employee of the same office?
Oh, that's right.
Mhm. Usually
So
we want
can we-
someone outside that's not affiliated with the organization.
So can we approve with that Request to submit an additional letter.
From someone.
Since it's getting a little complicated, I'm gonna just make a motion to deny.
It's been moved by Jamie Barney to
Second.
deny this request, this application for the Office of Citizens with Development Disabilities. It's been seconded by Trinity. Any public comment pertaining to this motion?
I have a hand raised from Teresa Frank.
Teresa Frank, you're being recognized.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Miss Cheryl Dickerson Brown works for the Office of Aging and Adult Services. She is not with the same office.
Thank you. Any other public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor? Any objections or abstentions?
I object.
Let the record reflect, it's been objected by Board Sinceri. I always do that, boy. You know I get that wrong. You know I get that wrong. So if there's an objection, we are going to need a roll call regarding this motion. The roll call would be if you agree with the motion to deny the application request.
The roll call, for motion to deny. Highest, do you get
I
to?
break.
Jamie Barney,
Yes.
Evan Bergeron,
Yes.
Melissa Haley,
Yes.
Trinity George.
Yes.
Andy Strawberry is not here. Laura Sinceri. No, I disagree with the motion to deny.
What's the count?
So 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 1 no.
So the motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is a request made by Gina Rossi to extend group supervision hours with Lauren Goddard.
I want to say how much I appreciated the explanation. That's why it was needed, or why it was requested.
I don't have any concerns or discussion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Melissa to approve this request. It's been seconded by Trinity. Any objections? I'm sorry, any public comment pertaining to the motion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is a request from Gina Rossi to extend group supervision hours with Donna Lagasse.
Don't have any discussion regarding the concern.
Is there a motion made regarding this request?
Motion to approve.
It's been moved by Melissa to approve,
Second.
seconded by Evan. Is there any public comment pertaining to this motion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Next is a request from Jan Coker to allow all continuing education via distance learning.
That's fine to me. I would move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Evan to approve this request. It's been seconded by Melissa. Any public comment pertaining to this motion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Ashley Della Vega's request to allow continuing education via distance learning.
I'll make a motion to approve this request. She has the military orders.
It's been moved by Trinity to approve this request. Is there a second?
Second.
Been second by Bora. Any public comment pertaining to this motion? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a request from Ruth Sewell Fernando to allow for continuing education via distance learning.
I make a motion to approve this request. There are military orders that have been attached to this request.
It's been moved by Trinity. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Evan. Any public comment pertaining to this motion? Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a question from Donna Harris regarding the scope of practice for RSWs.
I mean, it sounds like they're asking for just like an exposition of what RSWs can do. Right?
Yes, that's what it looks like. And reviewing this, we just need to direct the social worker to the Practice Act so that she can see what the scope of practice is for RSWs. Any other discussion regarding this letter? Request?
The only other thing, cause she noted seeing some information somewhere with the highest degree is a BSW, and since her highest degree was an MSW, she wanted clarity on what she could do, and I just wanted to clarify that the RSW is what is going to give her guidance on her scope of practice, whether she has the bachelor's or master's degree, doesn't dictate the scope of practice in Louisiana. It is the license, and so with the RSW, she's functioning with on that level with her scope. The master's doesn't dictate the scope of practice without a master's license. That's it.
Any other discussion regarding this? All right. Next item on the I did see that. That's why it's under the one for referring her to chapter 3.
And the scope of practice.
Yes, I see it. Yeah, and that's why I just read it. We can just redirect her back to reading the scope of practice for RSW. Next item on the agenda is Ramona Johnson, request to accept supervision.
That it appeared to be an actual assertive issue. I thought y'all might disagree on that. So,
Yeah.
Emily, I have a question. In Certami, is the, and I haven't dealt with supervision in Certami. Is it confusing for licensees when they're working with an LCSW BACS in terms of supervision? It's when they're clicking on a tab or a contract, in this regard for them to click on a professional experience verification tab than trying to get an employee to click on something else, because it appears that she clicked the wrong tab when she should have clicked something else. Is it confusing? Is it convoluted in that way? Or am I just, I know I'm confused with all of this when it comes to serving.
So the supervision contract is what has to be filled out first, and then you click on the LCSW application that says phase supervision. And that's the one that will send out a reminder if you're coming up on a year. But and that's just the way Starter is set up. So we always have to tell people we understand. But the supervision contract doesn't have that email that goes out. What people are having trouble with is that they put in, so the LMSW will put in the 2 invitations. The first invitation goes to the BACS. The BACS accepts the invitation, but then the BACS has to complete their portion. And what they're thinking is when they accept the invitation, that's all they have to do. Right. But until they fill out their portion and click submit, it doesn't move to the next person. So it doesn't move to the agency supervisor until that time. So that's for the acknowledgement portion of the supervision contract. Then another step to that workflow, supervision contract workflow, is called employment verification. And that isn't contingent on the BACS filling out first. You send the invite straight to whoever at HR is going to be verifying that you're employed there.
So that's the licensee's responsibility to do that,
Yeah.
correct? And not the BACS.
Yeah, but where I see the most trouble is that the BACS accepts the invitation and it doesn't move to that next step to fill out their portion and click, to submit.
And that's not the fault of the licensee, that's the fault of the BACS. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it says she was clicking the professional experience. Who is she?
the licensee.
Okay, excuse me. The licensee or the supervisor, like the person they needed to.
I would have to read the whole thing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
It looks like a certain issue though, whatever.
the only question I have is how many clock hours? I think it would help the board if we knew, like when someone sends a request to us for the individual to say, I'm requesting, 20 hours to be approved, or 30 hours to state what number of hours you're asking to be approved, because, we want to be able to have that right in front of us so that we can be more expeditious. It does cause a delay because then we have to go back, pull up your supervision records, sit down and count all your hours for you. So, I'm asking that when you send the request, say the amount of hours. This letter is good when it says the time period, right? But say the hours for us as well. And so my question is, I need to know how many hours are being asked to be approved to have it on the record as such. And so if anyone has done the math for that, that would be helpful to get an expeditious response.
Madam Chair, is it possible to table this until to see if we can get that information?
So there's,
And I just want to clarify that that's not information that we can give you because.
not you, I'm asking the licensee
Okay.
to give that information. I'm
Okay.
asking that when the request comes to the board, to ask the board to approve whatever hours you're asking, to state in your letter your hours, because, otherwise we don't want to get the math incorrectly, right? So if you're saying from August 1st to January 1st, say how many hours. It will help a lot for us to be able to, we don't want to get the math incorrectly. And to the administrator's point, she's saying we cannot provide that anyway from our end the hours. So, and then there's on the floor, I have a board member asking to table. If we table, that means that this particular table. If we table, that means this item will move to the last part of correspondence, right? That would be that. That's what table would look like. Otherwise, a motion would need to be made regarding this correspondence, right? So either way, that's the options that we have,
So
okay?
can I say that since we do not have all the information at hand, and we need to know the hours that the licensee is requesting, can we make a motion to move this item to the agenda for next month to allow the licensee additional time to provide us with the information so that we can make a well-informed decision on her behalf?
We could make that, I'm comfortable going forward with the timeframes without the hours now.
So whatever you all decide, it will be at this point, I'm hearing to table it to later today, to review it under correspondence later today. I'm hearing, move it to the next meeting, and I'm hearing, what's yours, Jamie?
Approving it based on, from the time frame requested.
So
Without the.
whatever motion is being entertained, it will need a second to move on.
Can I ask her a question?
Yeah,
about that?
go ahead.
So if you did make that motion, what would determine how many hours she would get? I just, like, what would determine that?
The hours in Certimen from the date we approve. Like, cause you go into Certimen, you have to put each session you have by date. So if we say we're approving from the contract date of January 27th, then it would be everything in Certimen from that date forward, however many hours it is.
So it's what, a year, like 14 months maybe of time. And so you're thinking it's not like this person's asking for something from 5 years ago where
Right.
there's questions about what would qualify and all. So to Evan's point, it looked like it's a certainty issue and they just realized it and it's not been so long, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So I agree with your thought on this, that we could move to vote based on what we have. But in the future, I would like social workers to give not just dates, but hey, we've done this so far. And I love it when they send the handwritten logs that they have that show that and calculate it and tell us what they think. But in this situation, I do feel like it's a certainty issue.
So Emily, the way that it works is the first thing you have to do is your supervision contract. It gets sent to the backs has to accept, the back has to complete the form. And then it gets sent to the agency supervisor who does the same thing, right? Has to accept and then complete the form.
You know, they have to acknowledge that they are aware of the supervisory relationship.
Mhm.
So that's what their sign off is.
Mhm.
That's what they're agreeing to.
Mhm. And then only after that's done can they complete the employment verification? No.
They can complete the employment verification at the beginning because that's a separate step. And so that invitation gets sent by the LMSW directly to the HR person. And you don't have to wait for that when you can do it at that time.
Yeah, you
You
can
can do those simultaneously.
Mhm.
So Emily, at some point, because it appears that this is very confusing. At some point, can we streamline this process sometime in the future, make it a better?
The new system.
So
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, the new system streamline this because it's.
So yes, board members, and to answer your question, good point, Trinity, and yes, we are working on streamlining that. As you're aware, we are in discussions, in fact, a new contract with another vendor that's addressing this issue. So thanks to that point, but right now, we still have this on the floor. Where are we, board? Where are we with this?
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone had a chance for discussion.
So it's been moved on the floor by Trinity to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been second by Evan. Any public comment pertaining to this motion? Any objections or abstentions? All right, hearing none, motion carries. The next item on the agenda is for a request to accept supervision from Ms. Jacqueline Savoy.
But I didn't like was the sticky tab right there, because you couldn't read some of it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I was trying to make it out.
Okay.
Emily, do you know if the employee verification form has been completed, submitted? There's a note in here from February saying it was requested.
And how many hours?
10 hours.
That's, you found it, because
She said I lost out on 10 hours of supervision.
Okay. I didn't see that. So I had to work that day.
Can I make a motion?
You have every right to do that. Are we still in discussion? Are y'all still reviewing?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, all right, we still reviewing.
So for this one, we haven't received the employment verification yet, that second step.
In that case. Okay.
Are we, is the floor is being open for a motion regarding this request?
Haven't received a motion.
Yes.
Gotta deny.
To make a motion to approve pending receipt of employment verification information.
That was, are you making that motion?
I was just saying that's what we could do if that's an option. Madam Chair, is that an option?
So it is an option. I will say, we'll set precedents, and I will also say that, if you decide to go that way, you need to put a time frame on it. It will set precedents. Typically, an employment verification is a requirement that needs to be, done, in this manner.
I'm not about to set new precedent.
So listen, you could, as a board member, you have a right to do what you need to do. I'm just giving you the backstory, so you'll know, right? So if you want to do that, hey, that's your way. If not, just giving you the backstory.
Can I make a motion that this be moved to next meeting's agenda?
So, okay, so what does that mean?
That'll give her time to send the employment
So
verification.
what that would mean is either you are going to,
Approve and then next meeting.
so legal counsel, I need you to lean in on this. to help
So
out.
one thing you could do is move to defer to the next agenda, to the next meeting, or you've had another suggestion to approve a condition upon receipt of employment verification, but that needs to have some sort of deadline.
I'm just worried about setting precedent and then we receive away for these things.
I just needed her to lean in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to defer to next meeting's agenda.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to defer this item to next meeting's agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been second, moved by Melissa to defer to next meeting's agenda. That will be April. And the second by Evan. Any public comment? Any objections?
Sorry, I have two hands raised. Well, yeah, I have two hands raised. First is from Shandia Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, you have the floor. You have 2 minutes.
I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. I could not hear from the former item that was raised. Was that for me, Shandia Jackson, with the employment verification? Because I could not hear. There was an issue with the hearing.
We are not on Shandia Jackson. Right now, we're on correspondence 5L, request for Jacqueline Savoy. Thank you.
A hand raised from Jackie Savoy. So yes.
Ms. Savoy, you have the floor, 2 minutes.
Yes, I wanted to let you guys know that my employment is verified as of February 12th. I'm on Certame right now, and I can see that my agency did verify my employment on February 12th. So I'm not sure what else needs to be completed.
Thank you, Ms. Savoy, for that information. Any other public comment?
No.
Any objections or abstentions?
Object.
Okay, we have 2 objections on the floor to the motion. At this time, we need to have a roll count. The roll count would be objecting to the motion made on the floor to defer to the next board meeting. So, Cora, could you do your roll count?
Jamie Barney.
Hold on, for clarity.
The objection? You couldn't hear Jamie. What's your question?
I'm trying to be clear. So if I'm objecting, so if I say yes, that is, so it's no.
No.
No, I don't want the motion to pass.
Right,
So no.
So the motion on the floor is to defer this request to the next meeting.
Right, so
So you objected to that,
Yes.
or objected to that, we stated it for the record, so now we need a roll call for this motion, saying that you're disagreeing to the defer.
I disagree.
Okay, so we're gonna make the count, so when you're gonna say yes.
So yes, I said
No. No, you're gonna.
That's what I mean, y'all,
You go, she's gonna vote no to the motion
yes.
that says deferment,
Right.
okay? All right,
So-
y'all got it? All right.
For Jamie Barney, Evan Bergeron,
Yes.
want to defer.
You agree to defer, it, okay.
Melissa Haley,
Yes. Melissa's deferring. it.
Kennedy George,
No.
Trinity's no.
Candice is not, Sharper is not here. Boris and Sari, no.
Laura's no.
We have 3 no's and 2 yeses to defer to next meeting.
So it's not going to defer to next meeting. So that means we need to discuss it now. That motion died. So, where are we now? Board?
Like to make a motion to deny the request.
All right, it's been moved by Jamie to deny the request and offer a compliance hearing. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
It's been seconded by Evan. Is there any public comment pertaining to that motion?
I have a hand raised from Gina Rossi.
Gina Rossi, you're being recognized.
Thank you very much. I want to point out that it's not said or documented anywhere what the requirements are to be in a letter that would have this approved or disapproved quickly. I've previously recommended that a template that had all the required information that the board needs to make a decision be included or offered to persons in the community. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Is there any other public comments?
Madam Chair, Ms. Savoy's hand is raised again, although she has already spoken once on this agenda item.
Ms. Savoy, this is a new motion, so she is permitted to speak. Ms. Savoy, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. I'm not understanding why I need a compliance hearing. I guess I'm not understanding what I did not provide. I provided why I was not I did not get it done in time. I showed proof that I did it immediately when I found out. I guess I don't understand why it can't be approved when I showed immediate action on everything that was asked of me. I'm a bit confused.
Is that while the process is once a request is denied, an automatic compliance hearing accompanies to that denial. So whenever a request is denied, a compliance hearing is offered. I will defer that to my legal counsel to share a little backstory on that. Just quickly to help inform you of that.
Compliance hearing gives the licensee the opportunity to bring any additional documentation and to explain the documentation if the board's not able to reach a decision based upon what has been submitted already.
All right, any objections or abstentions to the motion on the floor?
I abstain.
Okay, board abstains to the motion on the floor. For the record,
I object.
all right, an objection to the motion is noted on the floor by Melissa. There's an objection, so we are going to need to do a roll call. Roll call at this time will, you will say yes if you are in agreement with denying the request and offering a compliance hearing. Okay?
Jamie Barney,
Yes.
Evan Bergeron,
Yes.
Melissa Haley,
No.
Trinity George,
Yes.
and Dee Saraparu. She's not here. Then I abstained, so I can't.
Mr. Votes.
1 no and 3 yeses to deferring, denying and offering a compliance hearing.
The motion carries to deny and offer compliance hearing. Next item on the agenda is correspondence 5M, Erica Berkowitz, request to accept supervision.
Were you guys able to understand the emails? There, she did a good synopsis of them, but it's not, the screenshots aren't, I can't see what they say.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, okay. So I'm gonna, first her synopsis.
I couldn't see, I can't see them either.
Oh, that's how they look to y'all too? Okay. It looks, I mean, I can see the dates, so like I can see that it is March 22, that this is an email to the board. And then it says something about a dashboard, so I can see she was trying to work out issues insertable.
You contacted certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So the supervision contract was not completed because they couldn't finish it, so what it looks like.
It looks like she sent the invitation, yes, like she sent the invitation for the supervision contract, but
It's the wrong email.
Seeing something, there's two different emails
Yeah.
on file, in some kind of way it didn't land. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay. So is it,
And, yeah, I'm sorry, and then the supervisor did indicate the number of hours in the letter to request for consideration.
if I'm understanding, they sent it to the wrong email because the backs had the incorrect email associated with their Certame account, which is attributable to the backs.
Right, and not the
to
licensee.
And
And then the licensee attempted to contact the board and then Certame and provided documentation, thorough documentation, and tried to rectify it and.
right.
I just want to let everybody know that in our procedural rules revision, we have an affirmative duty for all social workers to maintain current contact information with the board.
Is there any other discussion at this time pertaining to this request from this licensee?
I don't have any further discussion.
I would like to make a motion to approve her request.
It's been moved by Trinity to approve the request. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any public comment pertaining to the motion made?
I have a hand raised from Troy DeLone.
Troy DeLone, you are being recognized.
Please unmute yourself.
Okay, we are going to move on. Any other public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor? Okay, hearing none. Any objections or abstentions to the motion on the floor? All right, motion carries. Next is a request to accept supervision from Gabrielle Tannenbaum.
Now, this was a paper contract. Didn't we stop accepting paper contracts during at that time? And they were utilizing Certame, or was I confused?
Hold on, where you, this was just put in.
Yeah, it was, because I thought that they were not.
I don't see a contract.
You see the paper clips?
The papers.
That's not a contract.
That's not, oh, well.
That's not what the supervision contract looked like when we did it on the paper.
Oh, okay, that's not what it's like.
Yeah.
That's their plan. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I apologize.
No problem. I was just a little confused for a second.
Yeah.
So, it looks like instead of starting the supervision contract first, they started the LCSW application supervision phase first. And they were entering hours into the record of supervision. From that beginning date that they started supervision.
That they did not make there's nothing in there indicated they attempted a contract?
No.
Really?
That the contract was initiated January 30th of this year.
Supervision began 9/1/2022.
feel like it's common knowledge, you have to do the supervision contract, right? Am I
Should
crazy?
have gotten that in VAX training.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a motion if no one has any further discussion to deny the request.
It's been moved by Jamie to deny this request, second by Evan. Any public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor? Deny and offer compliance hearing? Any,
I got public comments now.
any public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor? Who's public comment?
So first, the applicant, Gabrielle Hannenbaum.
Oh, Ms. Hannenbaum, you are being recognized.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is my audio coming through?
Yes.
Okay, so I do understand, and I put in my email to the board that the supervision contract is something that has definitely been discussed, and it's on the LABSWE website. When I was going through my application, I went strictly through CERTME, and on their application where it records supervision hours, I didn't even have an option for a contract until I requested one. My back supervisor also was unaware. And so when I became aware in December, through a colleague of mine who also is having similar concerns and had asked me, Gabrielle, what did you put for yours? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I've been doing supervision for over a year. And I got with my supervisor. We pursued doing the contract immediately. And I appealed for my hours because while it is common knowledge, it was not on the CERTME website in the directions. And again, I understand and I fully accept responsibility that it is my fault for not checking further. But I do want to make it aware it wasn't just simply me not wanting to do it. It was me being unaware. And I understand that doesn't undo anything, but while it is common knowledge, both me and my back supervisor had no idea about it.
Thank you, sir, for your comment. Any other public comments?
A hand raised from Lisa La Rochelle.
Lisa La Rochelle, you're being recognized.
Hi, yes. I just want to speak just on behalf of supervisors in general that it is
Can't
not
do that,
clear.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you can't do that. It has to be specific to the motion on the floor. The motion on the floor is to deny and offer a compliance hearing for Gabrielle Hannenbaum. So if it's
I'd like to speak on behalf of her hours being approved.
Okay, yes, you may proceed. Yes, ma'am.
And that's it. I think that this is clearly a CERTME workflow issue and her hours should be honored. So she can complete her LMSW time and take her test to be an LCSW. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
No more.
All right. Any objections or abstentions to the motion on the floor? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Dejian Hughes, request to accept supervision.
This appears to be another one that just didn't submit the supervision contracts.
We'll also note that the supervisee did indicate the number of hours that they're asking the board to consider.
They're not gonna have a supervision contract in CERTME unless they go to the supervision page on the website and they click the applicable contracts. So there's a supervision contract 1, there's a description of who would complete that, and there's a supervision contract 2. And so that, when you go to the supervision page, that's the top portion of the information. And then after that is when you click on the LCSW application, the supervision phase, to be able to get the rest of the documents. But nothing's going to automatically show up in their CERTME account
So do you recall when, or the time frame, like the quarter and or year that the instructions were put on the website, the videos showing how to navigate the workflow? From CERTME, was that, okay.
So again, facts. I'm assuming, and I know you guys have said this, they were trained or adequate training was provided to BACs and to all licensees regarding surgery. Am I correct?
No.
No, so they were not trained.
Not on CERTME.
Not on surgery.
No.
But
When
the
you go through
process.
BACS training, it's on the supervision process, like what is required to.
To supervise licensees.
Right.
Okay.
So you know that you have to have a contract, but there's no training on how to put the contract in CERTME done during the BACS training.
Okay, so hold on for a second. Got it. Noted. So now I understand why so many licensees and BACs are frustrated regarding these contracts because it appears that they're frustrated because they're not sure where to click or how to click. But I just assumed that they were navigating this system, or after having so many licensees that they have supervised, they would have known that they had to complete a contract, and this is how you do it.
Every BACS knows you have to complete a contract. That has never changed.
Right,
And
and
the thing that has changed is where and how to go about it.
exactly. So
The people that have taken.
they need to call the board.
And ask.
Emily's trying to say.
So anybody that's taken the board orientation workshop since having CERTME, I don't know in what depth Gina, the person that teaches it, goes into, but she does cover what is required.
So, it seems that, just, I know we move into different things, but some attestation should be required for BACs before they accept, they proceed with the next person, saying that whatever the new system is or this system, that they understand each one of these pieces.
Yes.
And before they move on, because the bad part about this is that they have no repercussions for their error. They're the ones that have gone through training and know that the contract is supposed to be there to whatever depth it has. People are paying them with the understanding that they know what has transpired. So it seems like an attestation that says, I understand that I need to do this and how I need to do this would be the safest thing for the person who is trying to get
For
licensed.
accountability purposes.
I think that's something we could send to the supervision committee, a suggestion.
So we'll say the supervision committee has already have that in working. It is in, the proposed 507, some discussion about attestation. And it's also, in our supervision committee, we are having more dialogue about that because you all, as a board, has brought that up before. This is not the first time that you all have specifically said it in the way that Melissa has just said it. So with that being said, there's a set of proposed rules already that has been discussed to include some form of attestation, as well as to expand professional development, to your point, and training, to everyone's point on that. But for this particular request that we have in front of us, you all, what would be the pleasure of the board to move forward with this? If we are finished. Oh, I'm sorry, we do have that motion. No, we didn't, not on this one. No motion on it. We can be confused. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Sorry.
I'm rolling and I'm trying to get everybody in. So what will be on this particular motion, what will be, if we are finished with discussion, what will be our consideration for this moving forward?
It's thoroughly documented.
I think we would deny.
So I'm
Denied other people for similar situations.
hearing, that there's a motion on the floor. Is that a motion?
That is.
There's a motion on the floor to deny this request and offer compliance hearing. Is there a second to that motion?
What is this?
If there's no second to the motion, then the motion will die. So now we can reopen the floor back for discussion.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to see if the certimy, so what is this? Where it says, the screenshot they attached is on page 43. It says, Allison Purdue, and it has October 18, 2022 circled. What step is that, Emily? Do you know? Is that the contract? It's on in the correspondence, it's a screenshot. It has a 430 timestamp at the top. Back to my credentials, and then it says, it shows the hours, but it's circled towards the bottom. Allison Purdue, 10/18/22, 136. I'm trying to see what step that is. Is that them putting the hours in, or is that?
This is for the record of supervision.
Okay. Before the official start date. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm ready.
81, are we still in a discussion phase regarding this correspondence?
I was questioning, I wanted to make sure that she sent the contract to the supervisor and the supervisor accepted it but hadn't signed it. But that's not what that is. That's the record of supervision. In the note, it's indicating pretty much that because they started during the supervision process before, they just missed the step of signing a contract, is what I'm interpreting it to me, which is a different thing. That's not a certainty issue, so from my perspective, so I'm ready to go forward.
So I will open the floor for a motion if there's no more discussion pertaining to this correspondence request.
Make a motion to deny the request.
It's been moved by Jamie to deny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Evan. Any public comment pertaining to the motion on the floor?
I have a hand raised from Carmen Spooner.
Hi, Carmen, you're being recognized.
Hi, good morning, or afternoon, is after 12. Just in support of recognizing this person's hours, the instructions that are on the board website, I'm sorry I wasn't able to be on for my own persons, but let me just be clear. The initial instructions that were given inserted me with a PowerPoint about how to access all the various things within Certimi worked for my first set of people 2 years ago when we first started Certimi. Everything was really laid out. However, the setup changed and there was no accompanying updated PowerPoint to say how to get to those things. In my first sessions, initial sessions, and I'm pretty sure any of us
Carmen, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt. Carmen, I'm so sorry, I hate to interrupt you. Are you speaking specifically to Dejan Hughes?
Yes.
And are you speaking specifically to the motion on the floor that is to deny and offer compliance hearing, specifically to that motion? Because I do not see you referenced in any
I'm
of
not.
this correspondence, ma'am. I just want to remain equitable and
Right.
ensure you that it has to be to the specific motion on the floor. I do not see you anywhere in this public correspondence. I just wanted to make sure.
You're right, and I'm not trying to go any further than this person's. To say in support of this person receiving a compliance hearing or reconsideration for their hours is that the system, CERTIMI system, is not has to be jump started, is not followed the PowerPoint that was submitted initially, that people were able to follow initially. So I think that you should allow this person some remedy.
Thank you, Carmen, for your comment. Any other public comment?
I have hand raised from the applicant, Dejian Hughes.
Dejian Hughes, you are being recognized.
Good afternoon. My name is Dijon Hughes, and I'd like to just state that whenever I started my LCSW supervision, I made sure that I was adequate in keeping track of every hour as well as documenting as you all see in front of you. However, whenever I went to put in the information on CERTIMI, I was under the impression that the LCSW application prompted me in order to fill out that was a part of the contract. So whenever I went in and I sent that request to my supervisor to start recording supervision, I read through the entire step where it says LCSW application and it says phase 1 supervision. It does not say if this in any part does it say, hey, go back and click on X, Y, and Z to start a contract or whatever in the case that you have not done so. Of my knowledge, I thought I was completing the contract by starting the process of the LCSW application while pursuing my LMS under the leadership of my LCSW backs while pursuing my LCSW. And as you can see from start, I was very thorough in how I documented and making sure that I had record of this. So whenever this was brought to my attention, you can imagine the shock that I felt because as I think Miss Jamie stated, the circle document screenshot that I showed, it shows 10/18/2022. So that shows supervision started 10/17/2022. So on 10/18/2022, that's when I tried to immediately go ahead and get that contract and those things that are supposed to be in place so that I wouldn't have this issue. But lo and behold, here we are years later, and I've completed these supervision hours on top of paying this money.
Yes, we hear you, sir, and we are way past the 2-minute allowance for public comment pertaining to this motion. I want you to know that we just heard your public comment pertaining to this motion. Any other public comments? No. Okay. Any objections or abstentions to this motion?
Objection.
One second. So, public comment, there's an objection by Melissa.
My question has to do with whether or not I need to object, so can I ask?
You have to make a decision, sorry, whether or not you, but there is an objection already on the floor, made by Melissa. So, if there's an objection, we must take a roll call. The roll call would be if we, agree with the motion, which is to deny and offer a compliance hearing. So, Laura?
So it was deny and offer a compliance
Yeah,
hearing.
whenever you deny, you have to offer a compliance hearing, and legal counsel has said that.
That's what my question.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, all right. So there's an objection on the floor made by Melissa, and so now we have to take a roll call. You will be saying yes. The yes would be that you agree with the motion on the floor, which is to deny and offer compliance hearing.
Jamie Barney,
Yes.
Evan Bergeron,
Yes.
Melissa Haley,
No.
Trinity George,
Yes.
Cindy Saraparu is not present. Boris Ansari, yes.
Okay, and so the motion is carried. And we need to know for the record the yeses and nos too.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 1 no.
4 yeses, 1 no, okay? Yes,
I'm not sure when you wanna.
we're gonna go to
break for
lunch, yeah, we're
but
gonna.
because we have a compliance hearing at 1:00.
Okay, so we're gonna, this is the thing, the board just have been working and pushing through, and we literally forgot our own time and break to eat. So we are going to go to break right now, y'all, at 12:19 PM and come back on at 1:00. We have a compliance hearing scheduled at 1 PM in person. So we're gonna take this time to end. Thank you so much. We will be back on at 1:00 for our compliance hearing.
In the public.
So now yep, in the public. And so now, we'll see you all at 1 PM. Thank you. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back. We are officially back on, this is the Louisiana State Board of Social Work Examiners meeting. The time now is 1:03 PM. At this time, we are going to, call the roll for who's in attendance.
Hyacinth McKee,
Present.
Jamie Barney,
Present.
Kevin Bergeron, Melissa Haley, Trinity George, Cindy Saraparu, Boris Ansari, present.
All right, but we also have our legal attorney, our legal counsel, Sherry Morris, that's present, as well as our administrator, Emily D'Angelo. And so at this time, we are going to proceed with the compliance hearing for Jason House. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, ma'am, very good.
All right, LMSW. The hearing panel for this compliance hearing is Hyacinth McKee, Jamie Barney, and Boris Ansari. And at this time, we are going to allow Jason Holt just to be acknowledged that he is here in person with us for this hearing. And so at this time, we're going to go right into the hearing. So I am going to start the hearing, sir. The compliance hearing for Jason Holt is called to order. The hearing will be conducted by members of the Louisiana State Board of Social Work Examiners in accordance with the rules, standards, and procedure. The applicant requested a compliance hearing to appeal the denial of their supervision hours that began September 8, 2022, due to not receiving a completed supervision contract within 60 days of their first supervisory session. The completed contract was received November 3rd of 2023. The purpose of this compliance hearing is to provide you with the form to present documentary evidence in the form of affidavits, court records, official records, letters, and et cetera, along with sworn testimony to establish valid reason that the board should approve the supervision hours completed. Mr. Holt, am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm now going to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Is there a Bible for me to swear on?
No, there's no Bible.
Just making sure, then I swear.
Okay, you will remain under oath throughout the proceedings. So at this time, you have the floor to share with the compliance hearing any information that you want to present in support of your request to ask the board to approve your supervision hours.
So I submitted this earlier on, and I believe that CertaMe, they deleted the records of the supervision, but we've been going through supervision since that first time in 2022. And we've been reading regularly, weekly, group, individuals. And I believe that even if there was an error, that there should that I believe that they should be reinstated because I feel as though those supervision hours were very valid, very full of very good life lessons, not just social work lessons, but life lessons. And I think that it would, it would be, I think that it wouldn't be right for it to go on, on a, sorry, I'm trying to think of the right words, undocumented.
Do you have anything else you want to share with the board? And take your time with it, any other information you want to share regarding your request?
I will be completely honest I've tried to do my best with the Certamy stuff, but Certamy can be fun, let's say. So, and I just don't, even if something like that happened, I don't think that that should be the reason for me losing a whole year's worth of supervision. And I drove all the way here from New Orleans, kind of, and I wanted to be in person just to make sure that my case was clear and that my case was concise. So I appreciate y'all's time, and I just try to be brief and concise with it.
I do have a question. So your back supervisor at the time was Miriam Oswald? Is that
I as well.
Oswald? Okay, thank you. And your agency supervisor was Monique Saunier?
Yes.
Is that correct? All right, I just wanted to make sure I had the distinction, the two differences. Okay.
I think that led to some confusions too, just because on Certainty, I tried to sign the right email to the right person, but it just kind of got.
Can we ask questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I should have said that the floor is open for questions.
So you had a contract that was started September 8th, but that is the one that was deleted because it wasn't correct, or did I misunderstand
I
something?
think that it wasn't correct to my knowledge.
Okay. But there was a contract initiated in September 2022?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so this one that we're seeing that was approved November, that's a second contract?
Just
a corrected one?
A corrected one.
Okay.
But we have the records of me seeing supervision through a back certified social worker, Miriam Perez Wall, who I have a lot of respect for.
Okay.
And she's still doing your supervision?
Yes, she was going to be here, but she had car problems, so.
Okay, so everything, there was no other issues with the stuff in search, so you were able to do the record of supervision and the agency verification, employment verification, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And then the contract just was set up incorrectly, but it was set up during that time.
Yes, I believe so.
This last statement where it says no hours have been added to the online record supervision.
I believe we've been uploading them. I know we definitely checked recently and we've been uploading them.
Are you scanning them into the wallet on paper, or are you entering them like each time you have a session in a record of supervision?
Well, I believe that it is my supervisor that enters in the information for when we have supervision.
Okay.
And normally I just I write down what we talked about, what we just kind of review at the end, normally something along the lines of like, this is what we talked about. This is the major points. Because like I said, I like to be concise, but explanatory.
And so go ahead. Were you, did you start entering those hours more recently, or was your supervisor entering them the entire time you've been in supervision?
I believe the entire time, but I think that there was a period where we had to kind of catch up recently.
Okay. Okay.
And what do you mean catch up, Mr. Holt? I'm just trying to get, what do you mean, like?
Just making sure that we had everything correct, just to make sure that there was no conflicting, like if I said, oh, we talked about student support, but we didn't, but on her papers, they may have said, oh, we talked about the therapeutic rapport, because we're a school system, so we do a lot of I do a lot of stuff about therapeutic rapport and therapeutic alliance, but there's also talks about, the school, just because to ignore that would be.
Right, and it's okay, you don't have to go into details of what you are, talking about in supervision. I do have a question, do you know the amount of hours you're asking the board the number of hours that you're asking the board to consider?
Yes, and I know that it is a lot.
Okay. Do you know the number of hours?
Not off the top of my head, but I imagine that it is. I did not calculate them all. I believe it would be about a year's worth with the school, so summer not included.
And so that's why I'm asking that, because, sometimes individuals may have, like if it's a month, an individual may see their supervisor more than twice in a so-called month, if the month is 5 weeks, right? And so I'm asking that only so that we would have knowledge of the exact amount of hours that you're asking the board. And then being a school social worker, you guys are out for sometimes 2 months, 2.5 months. And so during that time, you wouldn't have had supervision. So therefore, the board would need to know the exact when supervision ended before summer break, when your summer break started, when you resume back to fall to start working, we would need to have the number of hours to approve, right? So like, I can't,
32 hours.
So you're saying that you are asking the board to approve 32 hours of supervision between what date and what date?
I believe from 2022 to 2023 school year.
What, what date?
September, or not September, August.
August.
I think the 5th, I'm trying to think if it was a Monday, because we start on Mondays normally.
So August 5th, 2022?
To May the 25th, I believe.
To May?
The 25th, I believe.
Of?
2023.
And you're asking the board to approve 32 hours?
September 8th to May 25th.
So September 8th of 2022 until what? What date?
Until May the 25th.
May 25, 2023, and you're asking the board to approve 32 hours?
Yes.
Of clinical supervision?
Clinical supervision, which we have records of. I've been uploaded to CertiMate.
I'm sorry, I just want to, before we, okay, so.
I'm finished with my question.
So I see you started September 8th, 2022, and you got an approved contract November 1st, 2023. So from the contract date, you would be eligible to go back 2 months, which would be September 1st, 2023. So are you sure about the May 2023, if like you didn't have any hours?
Or it would be August then, August, I guess the last week of August then. I'm just trying to think when.
Monday of 2022?
It
would be
Or,
August.
oh wait, it would be this, or last year, 2023.
Yeah. Like if you had any hours during the summer months, right?
That's,
Right,
well,
because
August,
that's the
you're
piece.
right.
When it's school social work, they are out for 2 months, they're not engaged, they're not working, so you don't get supervision, right?
Right.
And some school districts have different school schedules. I let out at one time and start another time. And so that's the clarity that we need is, that's why I'm asking you, specific number of hours you're asking the board to consider and between what dates.
Okay, so do you mind if I check my calendar real quick?
You can do that. Absolutely.
All right.
We need that information.
Just let me just check that.
I don't want you just thinking of it.
And let's see, the first session that we had was actually 9/12/2022. I think it just took a little bit to get the initial paperwork going.
Okay.
And then let me double check. So it would go back to September. What day do you remember?
I'm sorry?
You said November.
Oh, it was September 1st.
September
You're
1st,
good
so-
for September 1st, right?
So then it would be, I believe the first one would be, we normally don't meet on Fridays, so it would be that last week of August. So from September, so let me just double check.
September 12th, 2022 was your first session?
Yes.
Okay,
We have the 8th.
all right. You have the 8th?
Mm-hmm.
What's on the?
And the form is September 8th.
All right, yeah, the form says.
I think that's when we
Fill the
initiated.
form, that's when you started filling the form, okay, got it.
It says first supervisory session
It
was
does say
September
that.
8th. Mhm.
Mm-hmm, okay.
But a lot of times you start, doing the paperwork and stuff.
Before,
So, during that first session, so.
All right.
And then it may have been that we didn't have the paperwork on that day.
No worries, and so right.
And so it would be September the 29th, I believe,
Of 23.
of 23.
Okay, so from 9/12 or 9/8 of 2022 to 9/29/2023 would be that year.
Mm-hmm.
In between that time, there's summer months, right?
Yes, so 2 months off.
Mm-hmm. And so that would have been no time for supervision, right?
We don't have supervision during the summer.
Right. And so between 9/12 of 2022 and 9/29 of 2023, you're asking for the board to approve 32 hours? Is that what I'm understanding? The request, I just want to make sure that we have that.
So is it 9/8 of 2022 or 9/12 of 2022? It's 9/8.
Certainly says 9/8 is when the first session, but he said he believes it was a Friday and he was filling out paperwork.
Right.
So,
This record of supervision, we just got to say it's 9/12.
the record of supervision is saying 9/12. So it would be from 9/12 to 9/29, 9/12 of 2022 to 9/29 of 2023. The request is 32 hours, correct?
Yes, and then all from 5/25 and then we started up back in August. So from
Yeah, you were off, mean like you ended
Yeah.
off, right, gotcha, right. Yeah, 'cause you're a school social worker, right?
Yes.
All right, got you. And then you didn't start back up until August what? Y'all usually start what, August 1 or?
We normally start on August 1.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Have any other questions for, Mr. Howell? Any questions? No? Do you have any questions for us?
I understand that this can be a lot to ask for, but I appreciate whatever the decision is. I do appreciate y'all's time. I thank y'all.
I'm not dismissing it. You go ahead, your question.
Okay, so, I just wanted on the hours, it's a little more than 32. For
Okay,
sure.
so I think it's 10 more hours.
Okay,
So
cause I was counting, just make it.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't, okay.
I think that 32 was from the like school year from 9. So many numbers.
Nine, 12. It's, yeah, that summer month break. So where were we at? About 10 more extra hours. We're gonna have 42 hours.
Yeah, it was some of them had half, and I think I got mixed up, so I won't be
Okay,
finite from doing it just that quick. But I
right.
can, if y'all have more questions, I can take a few minutes.
Yeah, we need some minutes.
Okay.
If you want time to do that.
Let me see.
What we're asking is, Mr. House, is um, that when when anyone comes, they'll be able to say to the board, these are the number of hours I'm asking for approval and consideration, right? Because when it comes before us at this point, we don't wanna go in and add and subtract and do all of this math, and it's inaccurate,
I
right?
apologize.
No, it's not on you, it's just, we wanna make sure that it's the right amount
Mhm.
for the request, that's all it is.
Okay.
So it seems as though there was some like, it was the agency supervisor was assigned as the backs, and the backs wasn't it seemed like that was
And we tried to
the mix up, right?
Yes, and then we tried
But you
to-
had two supervisors, you had an agency who was a backs, as well as a private.
And I believe that it tried to say that Monique Sonia was the primary when she would not sign on.
Agency.
Yeah, when she was the agency, so she wouldn't sign off on that for obvious reasons.
Right, because Miriam was actually, okay, so I see that. I see where that confusion could have occurred.
So looks like it is 38 hours from September 2022 to August 29th, 2023.
Thank you.
Okay.
38,
Sorry?
you said 38,
Yeah,
correct?
38.
All right, any other questions for,
I guess can I ask a question?
yeah, you can ask a question.
Just for the future, if I've tried to contact Certainty many times. They aren't the most responsive. Would there be a better place to contact someone about Certainty just when I have questions or concerns?
So I can't speak for Certainty, but I can say that the board is aware of those concerns. We have been made on numerous occasions about Certainty and the responses and, lack thereof or not, or what have you. And the board has actively expressed that concern to Certainty and has also taken the steps to no longer engage in a contractual relation with Certainty. And so that is one of the, I'm giving that information to you. Moving forward, we have allowed or have said to licensees to contact our board if they feel like they are not getting the responses that they need to help support them with Certainty, because we recognize that we have gotten those concerns before from licensees, right? So, and so I hope that answers the question.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure, just because even though you guys say that we're going to move forward without them, like, I'm not sure. And I imagine you guys aren't 100% sure when that will be. So for now, we're that's Certainty.
So we're not at 100% sure of when that's going to be. But we are 100% sure that we have engaged in another contractual relationship with another provider to provide the services, and to manage our data and platform for our licensees. So we are 100% certain, we're 100% certain that we will not be, in a contract with Certainty, moving forward. And then so at that, if there's any other questions particular to that contract or that kind of stuff, my legal counsel will have to, answer those, but I hope that answers some of the questions.
To make sure just so that nothing like this ever happens again, just because I don't want to take up y'all's time and I don't want to take up my time.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I see that, you and your supervisor had correspondence with the board trying to get some stuff straightened out. And that always helps, like if you're sending emails and, documenting.
We're very proactive. We try not to just sit there twiddling our thumbs,
Any other questions for Mr. House? Ms. House, do you have any questions for us other than that?
I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay. And so you will receive, first of all, we're gonna, publicly say what our decision is, in this matter. And then you will also receive a written, decision within 15 business days, of the decision of the panel.
Do you guys need to talk about it or?
We actually have other cases, so we're gonna go through the other.
Oh, okay, so you guys will.
So you have no objection to the board discussing it later to come up with a decision in executive session?
I just wonder, so I know that you guys will say it, but, when will that be said?
We will say our decision, hopefully at the end of the day. It might be 8 p.m. tonight. I'm just only joking. I mean, we just have a long agenda, but we will make it public. So it will not be before 3:30. It will not be before 3:30.
Okay, I was just.
But it will be live public. And so if you do have the ability to jump on and listen to Zoom, you will hear us. You will hear our decision made publicly, and then also you'll get it in writing within 15 days.
Okay, thank you very much. I was just asking because I'm about to drive back to New Orleans.
Yes, well, did you register for the board meeting, via Zoom?
I didn't register via Zoom because
Because you were coming in public, but you may be able to still do that and then you can hear us. Then you can hear us, on your drive back properly.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howe.
Thank you.
You can be back to work. You'll be back before we get to, you'll be back settled, before we. All right, Mr. Howe, thank you.
About this open and close.
It's open's fine, thank you. Yes, we gotta get those, two of the board members, I think.
Yeah, they have to pop in here, right?
Yeah, so thank you. But it's a rapid. And I'm sure you better get that. We're live and we are needing y'all here so that we can vote. All right, at this time, we have Trinity George and Evan Bergeron that is now present. We are going to be entertaining a motion to go into executive session. Executive session will require us to also take a roll. So at this time, I need to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Moved by Trinity, seconded by Jamie. Do we have a roll call for that? Yes.
Jamie Barney,
Yes.
Evan Bergeron,
Yes.
Melissa Haley, not present, Trinity George.
Yes.
Andy Sarafari, not present, Laura Sensari, yes.
All right, and so with that being said, we are going to go into executive session at 1:30, but we are going to need to determine a time that we will be coming out of executive session.
No.
So I'm hearing,
Later, 4:30. Yeah, wait, yes, because we have to do the applications.
so are we thinking about 4:30? That would give us 3 hours. We have a
We have.
hearing at 1:30 right now.
Yeah, and then we have hearings until 3:30 and then we have to do the complaints, the disciplinary monitoring, the impair program, and applications.
Yeah, we won't be back on until about 5 o'clock. It'll be 5 p.m. before we're able to come. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it'll be 4:45 when we come back. I'm meeting y'all halfway. So at this point, we will be back for the public at 4:45 p.m. Thank you so much for your time.